Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, StrangeNet here. So, patches dropped today and we have some login rewards and some combat sites and scanning sites for rogue drones currently added. Now, we've got normal skill points and skins, however we have these new boosters, and that is boosting to scan probe time. So, it's quite interesting, something we've never seen before, and basically just helps you scan faster. Now, the new sites apparently can be found in high sec, low sec and null sec, varying different payouts. Obviously high sec being the worst, low sec better and null sec better, I think, this time round. I may be wrong on that, but at the moment I've been doing some high sec ones and basically just slowly making my way towards, well, null sec and low sec at the moment, so I can try them out. I'm currently running a Sunny's, nothing particularly interesting in regards to the fit, just a kind of rocket launcher, some drones, and basically quick align time for when I get into low sec. I'm using two of these, so remote repping and shield boosting are fine at the moment. Whether that holds up in low sec, I don't know, but for high sec, these have worked fine for me. However, the ship of choice at the moment appears to be the worm. I've seen a lot of people doing these in worms. This event will be running till the 4th of October, and there appears to be a good number of sites spawning in high sec at the moment. I've done a good number of them. I think I've done 5 so far. They're pretty straightforward. There's about 3 waves in the initial wave. Then you go through the dead space gate, and there's another wave, then there's another wave, and then the overseer kind of spawns in with that wave. So I think there's 5 waves in total. The drones themselves give you a little bit of bounty, so but they don't drop anything in regards to anything. It's just an empty wreck. Now, initially I tried doing these in an untanked Thrasher. I had 3 of them just lying around. That turned out to be quite disastrous, as they died quite miserably. Then I went back to Jitter. I fitted out a ship properly and came back to do it. And again, the missions themselves appear to be like copy and paste. There's no randomness to it by the looks of it. The enemies do warp scramble, and they do web, and they do newt, which is something to be aware of. They go down pretty quickly, but again, they can do quite a lot of burst DPS, so just be aware that if you're obviously not moving a great deal, that they can hurt. And again, if you've not got the means, I've seen a good number of wrecks from Sentinels to Destroyers scattered around while looking for these sites. So in this clip we just got to the Overseer, or the end boss, which is a bit of a cruiser, and they go down relatively okay. We do a bit of burst DPS, so it's something to be aware of. They can hurt, and that wasn't a bad little outing for 5 minutes. So off to the next one. So the loot drops apparently are the air skins, the cerebral accelerators, new time limited air scanning bonuses, which is, I've found one of them so far, and some the blueprint copies of the subverted JVN-UC49 drones, and plus Overseer's personal effects, which can be sold in game for ISK as per the dev blog. So some things to obviously try and find there. Some of them are obviously worth quite a bit of ISK. Now, I have had mixed results with these so far, although, as I say, I've not been disappointed that the ISK so far has been in line with what I'd kind of expect from a, sometimes the rewards from these things can be a little disappointing, and sometimes they can be really good. And I think this is, at the moment, I am about in the middle. I'm not disappointed and I'm not ecstatic. I think it's a good balance, to be perfectly honest. And this was the best one I've had so far, which is, what, in about 30 million. I've had 1 or 2 5s, 1 8, 1 30, and a couple of 10s. So, a decent amount of this for the amount of hassle and time involved. Actually makes these sites worth doing, with the potential of obviously bigger rewards. So I've got 8 million from this drop and one of the boosters. This is the first booster in the last 5 runs, I've done 5 runs. This was the first time I got a booster. There's no value on it at the moment because obviously it's not been on the market long enough, but again, decent amount of scan and should be quite good. So just currently looking for some more sites. We are heading around Minmatar space at the moment. I can't really stop in Minmatar space because I have poor standings, so I really shouldn't have come this way, but oh well. There are a decent amount of these sites spawning, as I said earlier. Competition is quite high. I was suspect on the last clip that I showed you due to the fact that I'd cleared out the vast majority of the sites. Somebody had come in, popped the cruiser, and basically I had to then steal it out of the wreck, which made me suspect. So it's something to be aware of, that if you are in high sec, it does come with its own problems that you may have to fight people off your wreck or your loot in the end. Obviously that's for you to risk and decide whether it's worth it. Now, again, these are going to become pretty repetitive pretty quickly, but for the time being it is something different, and again it's a half decent amount of ISK. I think on average at the moment, time wise for actually running the sites, I'm probably coming out between 12 and 18 million ISK per run. But obviously finding them takes time, and at the moment, as we can see, I haven't come across any in 2 or 3 jumps. Now, I did make the mistake when I first went to this, but I tried to get in a Hawk, and it is T1 and T1 frigates and destroyers only. And you can use faction frigates and destroyers, but it has to be T1. So initially I either didn't read it properly or it didn't specify properly, but I turned up in a Hawk, found out that I couldn't get in and had to go back and reship. So that's something to be aware of, that, so say, yeah, it has to be a T1 ship. It could be Tech 2 fitted, but it has to be a T1 version or a faction. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the low-sec ones will have, whether that'll be much different in regards to payouts. Fingers crossed, obviously. I'm not probably going to do many in 0-0 because well, again, I probably will end up going to 0-0 just to try them out, because obviously 0-0 can be a lot safer than low-sec. Low-sec can be a bit problematic at times, so yeah, who knows. But I do have to get out of Minmatar space here because, as I say, I can't stop at the moment. Because the faction police are hunting me down. I really should work on the epic arcs to get my standings back up. But this is what happens when you join the Amar militia for faction warfare and shoot the Minmatar mercilessly. Your faction standings take a hit, and it can cause problems. Now, what I do find frustrating as well, and it could be that I just don't know that there is a setting for it, but as far as I'm aware of, there's no way. You know how you can set your autopilot to avoid certain systems or to stay in low sec or high sec or wherever? I would like one where you could basically avoid entities that you're hostile with. So, for instance, Minmatar space, obviously I'm hostile with, but I can't tell where this is, what area is hostile. So you put in the map, and without literally clicking every single one to find out which system's which, how am I meant to know whether I have bad standings and are going to get attacked? I could be autopiloting, turn up in a system where obviously the Minmatar don't like me and I get shot at. There's no way, as far as I'm aware, please correct me if I'm wrong, I'd love to know, of basically being able to avoid faction warfare or faction police. So it would be really handy to be able to have that setting where obviously I don't just AFK into oblivion, because what if I'm flying a freighter? Now obviously I'll be a bit more careful, but the point still stands. It'd be nice to have the option to basically cut out parts of space where obviously I don't have a high enough standing to be in there. But anyway, that's my little rant. So yeah, it's a decent-ish event. Again, if you do it for long enough, it's going to get pretty boring pretty quickly, I imagine. Whether that's, as I say, is remarkably different in low sec and 0-0, I highly doubt it. But again, you see, here's my first one. It's taken quite a while to get to. I found a lot more in the Forge than we have done here in Hemtar. But either way, I think on that note, have fun, good luck, let us know how you get on, and talk to you again soon.